Thank you, Madam Chair. As we consider the $52 billion in taxpayers' money to subsidize the chip manufacturers, we can't ignore the environmental impact of this manufacturing. We need to obviously have a plan in order to deal with all of those issues so that we are ensuring that we reduce greenhouse gases, that we reduce carbon in the atmosphere. So my question would be, I know that Lam Research has committed to carbon neutrality by 2050. That's an important step, but it's not enough. You must get to net zero across all greenhouse gas emissions. And to the other witnesses, will you commit that your companies will reach net zero by 2050? Mr. Gelsinger.
Yeah, we will be shortly describing a detailed plan to accomplish net zero by 2040. And we're laying out a more aggressive plan to, be RE100 in 2030, net zero by 2040. We've also been widely recognized.
Is that all greenhouse gases?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And we've also been widely recognized as a company for our leadership work in areas like water reclamation, minimizing of hazardous gas and chemicals, as well as our overall efforts in sustainability, something we've received numerous awards for on a yearly basis now for many decades.
Great. So next, sir.
Micron has a strong program and emphasis.
Will you make that commitment? Will you make a commitment to reduce down to zero greenhouse gas emissions?
In the long term, we absolutely will be getting
in the long term is which year?
We have a program in place regarding and investments being made.
No, but which year are you?
We will soon be announcing that. We have not yet laid out the year, but we are making strong progress with respect to greenhouse gas reductions, waste management,
right,
water recycling, as well as renewable energy usage.
Right, which is admirable, but we need dates, we need commitments, and
we are absolutely
if Intel can make these promises, we expect you to make the same promises.
Absolutely.
I just want to say that to you, and we're going to hold you to it, and you'll hear from us if you don't do that. This is a bargain. Okay, we can do both at the same time. We can compete on the one end and also show the rest of the world that you can reduce greenhouse gases.
Senator Markey, I just want them to produce enough chips so we can electrify all our transportation sector right now is what I would hope. But I do agree, hold some goals out here. That's great.
Right. Well, they should be the model. Okay, we can't expect the rest of the economy to be efficient if the industry that prides itself on providing the technology to make us efficient cannot do it. Okay, so they should be able to square that up in terms of their own corporate agenda. And on to water usage, the production of semiconductors requires millions of gallons of water per day. Semiconductor companies' water usage is skyrocketing. Intel and Micron both use approximately 14 billion gallons of water in 2020. Chip manufacturers must work to restore water to their local water systems so that they are replacing the water they use with an equal amount of clean water. I want to acknowledge Intel for pledging to be net positive on water usage by 2030. Mr. Malhotra, can you make the same commitment?
We actually in Boise, Idaho, have a program in place with 75% reduction in wastewater improvements with 75%. And we have absolutely programs in place. And I wanted to also highlight to you that we have made commitment to be investing over $1 billion over 5 to 7 years in programs related to sustainable operations. Again, related to all aspects, including water. Water recycling.
Can you commit to being net positive on water usage by 2030, Mr.?
So we, again, have timelines outlined in our reports that we publish on sustainability on an annual basis, and we are absolutely committed to continuing to make improvements in these areas.
Okay, well, there's an old saying, to those who much is given, much is expected. So a lot is going to be given to the industry by the Congress, and we have high expectations for you to be the model. So we'll be looking very closely at the commitments that you are making, because it is critical that we solve the supply chain problems that are increasing prices and harming consumers, but we have to do it simultaneously while solving the climate crisis and ensuring that the environment is not collateral damage or just something that's an afterthought, and that's historically been the case. So we just want to let you know that we're.
And Senator, I want to
monitoring this very
highlight it
closely.
is a priority for us. We publish a sustainability report on an annual basis. Our milestones and our goals are outlined there, and you will hear more about this in terms of specific goals coming from us and higher ambitious targets in this regard soon.
Okay, the sooner the better and the higher the better. Okay, so we look with
We are aligned.
anticipation to your announcement.
We are aligned on these goals.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Markey. Senator Scott.
First, I want to thank Chair Cantwell for